Does manifesting seem too hard? Is it hard for you to trust in this process? Do you feel a lot of resistance? Are you affirming, scripting, visualizing, and you're not seeing any changes? Are you experiencing powerful negative emotions that come up frequently? If this is you, please know that you are not alone and you can quickly change this. Manifesting is not supposed to feel this way. Manifesting should never be detrimental to your mental health or exacerbate any issues there. If anything, it should, for the most part, relieve your anxiety and negative thoughts. So the focus of my video today is healthy manifestation. How do we actually approach manifestation in a really healthy way that benefits us and actually yields results? So first, my name is Tia, and the purpose of my channel is to talk about conscious manifestation. I love the law of assumption. It's changed my life in a relatively short amount of time. I understand now that this is what I was designed to do as a human, right? I was designed to manifest. I also like to dispel a lot of the myths that are out there about the law of assumption, especially in these times where there's a lot of misinformation out there that can oftentimes do more harm than good. So hopefully you find this discussion valuable. To healthily embark on your manifestation journey, you must first understand that this process is all about the self. This is not about anyone else. The goal is to achieve a genuine internal shift in your state of consciousness. This means that you have to change exactly what it is that you are aware of without any external evidence. No signs, no 222s, no 333s, none of that. So let's say you're manifesting a specific person, so you start seeing their name everywhere. Okay, cool, but it's still not what you want exactly, right? You want the person, not the name. So if you start noticing signs, you're going to become more aware of signs, and then now you're going to keep getting more and more signs. All you're doing is manifesting signs. So please don't fall down that rabbit hole. To be honest, there are no signs to this. You either have your manifestation, like outpictured in the world, or in your mind with effortless conviction, or you simply don't. I'm not trying to be negative. I just want to make sure that you don't fall for the romanticized version of the law of assumption. I'd like to save you a lot of time and frustration, and really make sure you know what you're getting yourself into with the law of assumption. This process really is very simple, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, so I don't want you to feel gaslit at all. Because when I was new to this, I definitely felt that way. I'd really like to start off with an example. Let's say you want a brand new 2023 Mercedes-Benz, but let's say you start getting obsessed with this car. You're constantly thinking about it. You're longingly thinking about it. You see this car on the road and wonder why you don't have this car. You start affirming so much and you look out in your 3D and you get frustrated that it's not here yet. So next you go even harder on your affirmations. There's not 1 minute of this day that's going to go by that you're not affirming. Let's stop and think for a minute. What state of consciousness are you in? What are you currently aware of? Apply this to a specific person. You want them. You obsess over them. They're all you can think about day in and day out. You don't know what it would be like to be without your specific person. And even thinking about that is so hard, it sends you spiraling. So you found the law of assumption and now you're aware that it's possible to get your person or get your person back, but you're going about it from a desperate, needy, codependent energy. Listen, codependency and conscious manifestation tend to not go hand in hand. Trust me, I've been there. So if you take our scenario here and ask yourself, what am I aware of in this moment? Well, you're aware of being desperate and lacking and longing. And the way this works is you always manifest whatever is in your conscious awareness. I've said it in my first 2 videos, and that's because there's really no way around it, right? The world can only reflect back to you what you're aware of. So guess what you're rewarded with? More desperation, more neediness, more lack, more longing. And on top of that, you're probably not feeling too good. I mean, you don't have to feel anything to manifest, but I don't know about you, but I certainly don't want to do things that make me feel crappy. Take a step back and think about who you are currently being. Are you desperate for your desire? And are you dependent on your desire? Do you think your life will be complete when you finally got it? If so, this is not going to work for you unless you change this approach. Don't be like who I used to be, and please just make this easy for yourself from the start. Okay, the spotlight is on you. You should never be focused on the 3D. Figure out why is it that you're so dependent on that thing. Investigate that thinking. Do you think you're not lovable, or that you're not enough as you are? Do you believe that you never get what you want, or what you want is too hard to achieve, or that you're a failure? So what is it that you're aware of? These deep core beliefs are the ones that tend to plague our lives. And because these beliefs are very much still alive within us, they will continue to be outpictured unless we change them. If you have negative assumptions about yourself, you have to eviscerate them, okay? You have to get rid of them and replace them with what you want. And no, doing affirmations on a superficial level isn't going to do the trick. Like, you can't be aware of being chosen and superficially repeat, I am chosen, I am chosen, I am chosen affirmations, and suddenly expect to be aware of your specific person choosing you. This is not how it works. So what does work? Well, you relax that mind of yours, and then you do your technique until you get lost in the feeling of just being what you want to be, or having what you want to have, right? Neville talks about this expansion of consciousness in At Your Command. And this is important because in order to see real shifts in your world, right, your 3D world, you must first have a genuine internal shift of your conscious awareness. So I find it generally a lot easier to first investigate my general self-concept in different areas of my life. I think about it like laying down a good solid foundation to support the beautiful house or the manifestations that you're going to build on top of that. You know, I want you to manifest easily, healthily, and sustainably. Like, it would be so amazing if we could all just get our manifestations and actually keep them. So think of it like this. You can totally manifest your specific person, but what's the point if your self-concept and love is, I'm not wanted, I'm not chosen, I'm not enough, I'm not beautiful enough, people cheat and lie, I can't trust people? Then yeah, you might have your specific person for a minute, but those assumptions are still active in the back of your mind, right? They're very much in your conscious awareness. Those assumptions will be pushed out and transmitted to your specific person. They can feel those thoughts. And unfortunately, because of how manifestation works, you'll probably unintentionally push them away or unintentionally cause other unfavorable events to unfold. So if you're interested in sustaining your manifestations, you have to make sure that your general self-concept in specific areas of your life is on point. You know, take care of yourself first so that you can stand in your power and consciously be aware that you are wanted and loved and irresistible and important and good enough. You know, it's okay to take some time to really work on yourself to be this person. So please take some time to investigate what your current self-concept is. So many of us like to just jump into the techniques to get SP back and make all of that money. And somewhere down the line, we find ourselves out of control and spiraling and just an emotional mess. And we wonder why. Well, it's because we haven't really worked on ourselves. Like, just think about it. You can't be aware of being in a happy and loving, committed relationship with your specific person and also be aware of not being loved, wanted, and chosen, right? As Neville said, you cannot serve two masters. It just doesn't make any sense. And lastly, as Neville suggests, I want you to keep a mental diet. So the mental diet is not necessarily flipping every single negative thought that you have. Honestly, I think that's counterproductive and is a fear-based approach. I think if we simply understand that our negative thoughts are just our own ego trying to resist any changes, then we can go about this more healthily. First, you have to be aware of your negative thoughts and fears. To me, this is important so I keep myself accountable. But at the same time, when those fears and negative thoughts come up, I want you to keep in mind the saying, what you resist persists. I know we're told to ignore the 3D, which really translates to fearfully shutting our eyes and pretending that the problem isn't really there. But all that's going to do is keep your fears and negative thoughts very much alive, right? A big part of this process is to get rid of those fears and negative thoughts to become someone that we want to be. Shutting your eyes and pretending that the issue isn't there is not going to help. Okay, don't kid yourself. I find it best to acknowledge and even validate the thoughts and fears so my mind gets the message that I'm not fearful anymore. I know it sounds super counterintuitive, but manifesting isn't exactly logical, so our ego won't necessarily get it, but that's okay. Just validate those fears and negative thoughts. Whenever a negative thought comes up, tell yourself, I hear you, but that's not me anymore. Or, I understand you, but it's okay now because that's not us. Or, I understand you, but it's okay now, so and so didn't mean to do that. You get the point. So anything along those lines works. It's one of those things that's just odd about conscious manifesting. Just know that acceptance will get you so much farther than denial. Like, I know I listen to those, those coaches, those people on YouTube that tell us to ignore the 3D, pretend it's not there, deny, and just fight those thoughts. But this is not a good approach. And honestly, the person that's helped me let go of a lot of my resistance is Eckhart Tolle. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. So if you're having a lot of resistance issues, I would definitely look into him. But really, you do not have to fear your negative thoughts. You don't have to fight with them. Just accept and validate them. I swear it works, right? They're looking to be soothed, and just your acceptance and validation of them will definitely do that. I mean, this usually dissipates a lot of the resistance that I have. So if you're manifesting an SP, oh my god, this will be very helpful. But it works for any sort of resistance that you may have. Do not sleep on this. Within days, I notice how less frequent and less powerful my resistance is, and eventually those thoughts just die out. But yeah, those are just my suggestions for a healthy and sustainable approach to conscious manifesting based on my tried and true experience. Anyways, thanks for listening if you've made it this far, and I hope this helps.